Hello. Hi. Welcome to my channel. My name is Martina, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 25 priority reads of 2025. So these are mainly books I've had in mind of reading for the past 1 to 2 years. I think majority of them I've discovered last year and I didn't get to. So this year I really want to get to them, and hopefully I do read them all because I love making a good list of books that I want to read, and this is just my chance to do that. So I'm always excited about these videos every year where people do a list of books that they want to read that amounts to the year that we're in. So this year is 2025. So that means 25 books to prioritize this year to read. And majority of them I do not own, so that's why I decided to just list them off without taking any books off my shelf because I think that only 8 of them I actually own, so majority of them I don't own. And I'm probably never gonna own some of them because we're trying to buy less books this year. At least read them first, then buy them afterwards if I really, really love them. Because I'm tired of having 3-star books on my shelf. So yeah, trying to switch it up this year and just read whatever I own first and maybe buy them afterwards if I really, really love them. They were a 5-star read or whatever. Except books by authors, I already know I love their work. That's the ones I know for sure I'm going to be buying physically this year. And like my anticipated releases, I'm going to be buying those for sure. But this video is not about book buying or whatever, book buying events or whatever. So let's get into the top 25 books I want to read this year. So first off, Faybound. I want to read Faybound, and it is a black fantasy surrounding fays and elves. So that's why I really wanted to read this one for the past year now. It's been on my TBR, and in January it's on my TBR as well because my son picked my TBR in January and he chose Faybound. So I'm excited to read Faybound. Next up, I want to read Spark of the Everflame. I thought this one involved fays, but I found out it actually involves dragons, which I love dragons even more than fairies, so super excited for that. Next up, I want to read Finale, which is the third book in the Caraval series. It's the final book in the series, so it's called Finale. I honestly don't know what it's about at all, so I'm going to go in blind and read Finale. Then I want to read Karanasi. This one has been on my TV for the past like 3 months now. Yeah, no, 2 months from December and now January. So I'm on January TBR. And I feel like it's gonna be a 5-star. That's what I'm thinking, but who knows? Also, don't know anything about it. I'm gonna be going in blind, completely blind, and hopefully I enjoy it. Hopefully I love it, and it's a 5-star. Next up, The Invisible Life of Adela Rue. This one, it's been on my TBR since it came out. I did actually start this one. I think I read the first 70 to 100 pages of that book, and I DNF'd it. But I'm giving it another chance because it does seem like a book that I will actually enjoy if I give it a chance again, because it has like a more slow, more character driven pace to it, and I tend to love those books, so I think that I would enjoy it because of that reason. So that's why I'm gonna try it again, give it one more chance. Next up, Dada Gut Dream Department Store. This one, it seems so whimsical. That's really why I want to read it. It's like a novella kind of book, and it's surrounding dreams, basically, is what I know. And I just want to read it because it seems really cool and whimsical. So that's why I put it on the list. And then I have this fantasy romance. It's called A Light in the Dark. It looks cool. I think it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling as well, and it's like this black girl in there, and I just want some more black romanticides. I think I barely find those, and this is one that I found a few months back that I said I want to read, so I put it on the list so that I remember. I'm trying to find more black romanticides that appeal to me because a lot of them don't really appeal to me because they probably just, I feel like most of them I find they're like, what do you call it? Those alien romances. That's what I've been finding. And I'm like, I'm tired of alien romances. This goes along being a monster romance a bit because she falls in love with a beast, like a literal beast. So I'm there for it. I'm going to try it out. And next, I want to read Winter's Eve, Then, Now, and Always. I did read the first one, which I honestly forgot the name. I think I read it. It was the first book I read in 2024, or at least the second book or so. But I read it in January 2024, the first book. I'm going to put it here. I forgot the name. But I really loved that book. It was actually so cute and so romantic. I loved it a whole lot. So I had a sequel on my TBR for the past year now. So I want to get to it this year because I didn't get to it last year. And next up, Glow. So Glow is is it the fourth book? Yeah, the fourth book in the Play the Prisoner series. Also has been on my TBR countless times. I'm going to get to it this year. It's actually on my January TBR. It was chosen by my baby for January. So I'm going to prioritize it a whole lot and get to it. I want to read Anatomy. I think I will love Anatomy because it has like this concept and this premise that appeals to me. It's like this girl. It kind of reminds me of Stalking Jack the Ripper, to be honest, because it's like this woman that wants to get into anatomy, basically. Like what do you call it? What do you call it when you like open up the bodies and study the insides, like stuff like that. I forgot the name, but yeah, she wants to get into that. I think it's like she gets involved with like a surgeon or something, and in this time period women can't do those jobs but men can, so she becomes like an apprentice for this guy, and basically she actually does the work, but no one outside knows that she's getting involved into doing that job because she's a woman and all that jazz. And it's basically a romance at the same time. It's like a historical romance. And next I want to read A Resort for Romance. This one is so funny because I actually had like a backlist title similar to this. I think it was literally the same thing, Resort for Romance. It wasn't A Resort for Romance, it was called Resort for Romance. It was like one of my books I was writing at the time because it was involved with a resort. It's a romance book, but I did scrap that book. But it was like so funny. So when I saw this title and the cover, I was like, that's so cute. It's similar to what I had, the title that I had. You know, the world is not unique. We all have similar ideas. So yeah, I want to read this one. I honestly don't really know what it's about. I know it's like a ski resort that they're at and they fall in love and get involved with each other. That's all I know. But it seems cute, so I'm going to read it. And I want to read Perfectly Candid. I also don't know what it's about, but I think the girl is like some type of princess. And the cover just looks so cute. That is really why I've had it on my radar for the past year now, because I think it came out last year and I wanted to read it around that time, but I never got around to it. So this year, top of the radar. And then I want to read The Wishing Game. The Wishing Game is a book that is more on the whimsical, magical side, and I do love a good whimsical book. So I'm saving it for when I'm in the mood for one of those really whimsical, dreamy books. The Book of Azrael. This one I've seen around a lot, and it never appealed to me because the cover. Honestly, whenever I see a fantasy book with that cover that is so basic, but it's also so ugly, like when it's just like a black background with just a random skull on there, it doesn't tell me anything about the story, so I never want to read them. But this last year, I actually found out more about it, and it's like a dark fantasy romance, which I don't think I've ever read a dark fantasy romance. Yeah, it has vampires. It doesn't give that vibe of the same thing where a sister is trying to find her or help her other sister, you know? It does have that common fantasy thing. And then a lot of people really love this book, so I'm gonna try it out. It's like one of those really popular fantasy romances, so that's why I want to read it too, to see if I'll enjoy it. If not, that's okay, but I just want to try something different this year and go into some more dark fantasy romances and see. Maybe I won't love it. Maybe I will, because I don't think I like dark romances. I've tried it like here and there once or twice. I've tried dark romances, and they fall along 3-star for me or 2-star, or I just DNF because it would have been a 1-star. But yeah, next up I want to read The Housemaid. This will be my first Frida McFadden book. I still haven't gotten to read my first Frida McFadden book, so I own that one physically, and I'm gonna try it out this year and see how that goes. And next I have The Plan. This is just a cutesy black romance that I want to read because I love a good cute black romance, and I relate to them so much more. So I'm putting it on my radar to read it sometime this year. Then I have The Story Collector. This one I found out like the end of last year, so I was on Scrib or Everend. It changed to Everend now, and I saw it on there. And it's involving fairies, and it's like a magical realism book as well. I think it spans from different time periods as well, which usually I don't like books that go from different time periods. But once in a while, I'll pick up a book where it does that, and I actually enjoy it. So I'm hoping this is one of them because it really appealed to me based on reading the synopsis, and I felt like it would be probably a 5-star. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going too far with that reach right there, but it feels like it could potentially be a 5-star book, and that is why I put it on my list so I don't forget about it. And I always can go look back at the list and like, what book do I have in mind to read? Then I'll see it, and then I remember that I have The Story Collector that I think will be a 5-star, and I'll try it out then. This next one, The Cat Who Saved Books, really and truly is because it has a cover of a cat and it has books, and I just love how the cover, like the cat is going through the book. I just love that cover so much. It is basically one of those Japanese stories where, I don't know, I've seen a lot of them. It's one of those Japanese stories where they talk about books and the love of books. And I've never tried one of those before, but they all look so cool. At least the covers look so cool. And the synopsis sounds so whimsical and sweet and dreamy. So I'm going to try this one out and see how it goes. I've seen a lot of booktubers reading this one as well, but I haven't really heard anyone's thoughts on it. So I'm going to try it out myself and hopefully I enjoy it. It's pretty short too. It's like 198 pages. So I'm going to try it out this year. And hopefully I love it. And then obviously I want to read a T. Fisher book this year. I'm probably gonna read all her backlist because I don't know if she's coming out with anything new this year other than the republication of Sword Heart, which I've already read Sword Heart. I'm gonna get the physical copy of that one because it's so pretty. I did love Sword Heart. Oh, I gave it 4 stars. And this one now is called A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Bacon. It's more of a middle grade, but it seems like it does have T. Fisher's little humor in there and some magic and just fun scenes and like crazy stuff happening that shouldn't be happening in a more serious environment. But you know, Tegan Fisher, she does that. She makes like humorous things happen while very serious battles are happening around the main characters. And I feel like that's gonna happen with this one, especially it's a middle grade. It'll be more unserious. So I'm excited to read that one. Then I have Child of the Sun Queen. This one, it does involve fairy. It's kind of like one of those books where the main girl, she is in a lineup of women who are trying to marry this king, and I guess she didn't want to be there. She ends up there somehow. I did start this book a couple months back. I read the first 2 chapters, and then I took a pause because I wanted to read something else. But basically, she was imprisoned, and somehow she escaped and ends up in this other kingdom. Somehow she ends up being in this lineup of women who are trying to marry this king, the Sun King or something. I don't remember exactly what a synopsis is. I'm just trying to recall what I read from the book itself and the synopsis at the same time, and that's kind of what I've gotten. So hopefully around summertime I read this one because it's called Child of the Sun Queen. I want to read it in the summer. Then I want to read The Neighbor Favor, which funny enough, I'm actually currently reading this one. I started it last night. It's pretty cute so far. It's a very cutesy romance. I had it on my TV last year. I didn't get around to it, so I was like, this year, all those books I didn't get around to, I'm gonna try and get to them in the beginning of this year that I actually started or didn't start, but they were on my monthly TBRs and I really wanted to read them. I'm going to try them out this year. If not, I actually have some in mind to unhaul from my shelf because I don't see myself reading them anymore, so I'm going to unhaul them. But The Neighbor Favor, very cute. It's this girl who's emailing her favorite author and somehow they become neighbors. So she doesn't know it's her favorite author that she's been emailing and talking to over the past few months, but he's now her neighbor and she doesn't know that. But obviously she's gonna figure it out and they're gonna fall in love. I'm just here for that because it's cute and I want some cute romances. And The Neighbor Favor is actually a series about different sisters. It's 3 sisters. So the first one, The Neighbor Favor, is the sister Lily, and they all have flower names. I don't remember what the other one's names are, but they were all flowers. I think it was Irish, and what was the other one? I don't remember. But yeah, so the next one is called The Partner Plot. And this one is like the main girl, she married her friend or something like that by accident in Vegas because they were drunk, which I always find that trope so funny and unrealistic. So I'm gonna figure I don't think I've ever read it in a book because I tend to not read books where you have that trope of they got married accidentally. I feel like that's so irresponsible and stupid and I just automatically write you off as dumb people. Like, so that's why I never want to read or watch anything with that because I'm like, yes, you're so fool to get married while you're drunk. Like, what the heck? Like, that's a whole process. How do you even do that? And how do you sign the paperwork while you're drunk? Like, I don't know. I don't find it's so unrealistic, but I'm gonna give it a chance since it's in the series where I think I'm gonna love all of them. So I'm gonna try it out and give it a chance, and hopefully I'll love it. I see a lot of people give this one 5 stars. It was actually a lot of people's favorites of last year, so I'm gonna try it out myself and see how it goes. Then I have Crooked Kingdom, which I'm probably gonna have to do a reread of Six of Crows to read Crooked Kingdom. I just want to finally read Crooked Kingdom, see what happens because Six of Crows did end a cliffhanger with one of my favorite characters, and I want to know what happens with her. So that's why I still have Crooked Kingdom in mind to read. Then, second to last, I have The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chosky. This has a more dark, dreary vibe to it, but I don't know. When I'm in the mood for something like dark and whimsical at the same time, that's when I want to pick up The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I think it will be perfect to read in October. I did have it in my October TV last year, and since I didn't get to it, so I'll try it out in like September, November, October, those time periods of this year and see how it goes. Hopefully I love it. Then lastly, I want to read Sing Me to Sleep. This one has been on my TV for the past 2 years since it came out. So even a sequel came out and I still haven't read it. So yeah, definitely gonna read it. I think I want to buy a physical copy of this one because I really love how the cover looks and I think I will love it. It is a siren romance. The main girl, she's a siren and she comes up from the waters to kill this human prince. You know, it's like what do you call it? A Little Mermaid retelling, sort of, I guess. And I'm excited to read it. It looks so cool, the cover, and the synopsis sounds nice. I just given enemies to lovers. I want to see how it goes. Hopefully, it has some nice enemies to lovers scenes where they're like mad at each other, or she really want to kill him, and like knife to the throat type of vibes. I want that. I'm hoping it has that. So yeah, that's all the books on my top 25 books to read in 2025 TBR. Hopefully I get to all of them. Hopefully at least 20 of them I need to read, you know, because you know how these lists go. Things change throughout the years, but I'm gonna keep. I have a notebook where I wrote it down because I did do a physical reading journal this year, so I actually have the list in that journal, so I can always flip through and see it, and that's mark out the ones I've read, so I can see along the year how much I've read from the list. And I'm gonna keep going back to it. A lot of these I do really really want to read, like for sure. So I feel like I would actually read them all. And if not, I probably would DNF so if I don't finish them. But that still counts. If I actually tried to read the book and I didn't like it, it still counts. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in my next one. And yes, goodbye.